Ever caught yourself thinking, is there more insightful way to ensure I'm making the best decisions for both myself and my family? What if we told you there are techniques that can dramatically improve your decision making process, reducing regrets, and enhancing your family's happiness?
Well, we cracked the code to making life-changing decisions with zero regrets. And we're going to be sharing it with you all today. I say, hey, what are your values when it comes to just living in our family?
Right.
You remember what they were?
Yeah, for me it was.
So I'm pretty excited about this
Yeah?
podcast.
Okay.
Yeah, because this is kind of the genesis of, I think it's our growth and progression as a family unit.
Okay.
Right? And it goes back, about, I don't know, 11 so years ago?
Yes.
And it started with this book, Smart Couples Finish Rich. And it's by David Bach. And that's when I kind of started my little journey of reading all these books, and I'll come to bed all excited about something that I learned, and I said, hey, we got to talk about our values, right? And it was one little chapter. I went straight to the book when I found it. I knew exactly where it was because that's how ingrained it was. I said, hey, what are your values when it comes to just living in our family?
Right.
Do you remember what they were?
Yeah, for me it was trust, confidence, and peace of mind.
And you know what's funny about that is that you're so healthy now.
Yeah.
There's no health involved. Whereas mine were, I wanted freedom. That's more like my financial freedom and my family, and then health. That was mine, right? Remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so it's kind of crazy because over the past 11 years, based upon those things I defined at that point in time, what did I do? I personally expanded my dental practice. I made it grow a lot
Yeah.
for financial freedom, the thought.
Yeah.
We got to a point where you can stay at home because it's important for me, and it eventually became for you, that we can be around the family and kids.
Right. Didn't want two super busy parents. Yeah.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
also too, with for me around health, we kind of did some research around just healthy eating and what it means to be healthy. And we actually decided to stop eating animal products, a lot of animal products around, almost
Mostly.
became like vegans in a sense, right?
Almost, yeah. We were like near vegans.
Yeah, stop eating the chicken, the turkey, the only thing we're eating left.
Yeah.
Um, and so that was like my whole little value space. And then all of a sudden, again, my little health kick, right? Was, hey, you gotta watch this documentary.
He thought it would be ideal because I like stuff like that. So he said, we're right up your alley. You'll enjoy it.
Yeah.
And that documentary spoke so much to us.
You remember Forks Over Knives?
Correct. Yeah. Yeah. And took me back to my basics when I remember when I used to eat very clean and very healthy. And it it reinvigorated me. It got you excited to
Got me
try
excited.
to try it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. And it kind of converged us as well.
Yeah.
The funny thing about this, I don't think you realize this, is that one of the doctors in that documentary, Pam Popper,
Yeah.
I actually am studying under her.
Small world, right?
Small world, and just kind of crazy how you start doing something and it kind of gets you to a point in the future which you have no idea where you're kind of going.
Going, yeah,
Right?
yeah.
But I think ultimately, I think what has happened is it allowed us to, it's an opportunity, right? It's allowed us to have a real good, sound, healthy family unit that's strong, it's happy, and really to raise, I feel, great children.
Yeah, I really believe we have great children and we provided that foundation for them, that stability for them.
Yeah,
And it worked for us
yeah,
because we were aligned.
yeah.
So,
And I think as we think about how strong our family is, because we don't even argue.
no, people don't believe it when I say that.
Yeah,
We've been married for this long and you guys don't argue.
don't argue. I mean,
No.
we're committed to the end. We define stuff, our goals, and how we want to live, 10 years, 20, 30 years down the road into our hundreds.
Yes, yes. I feel like to just backtrack a little, that we don't argue, we do disagree. However, it's how we approach it.
Yeah, and I think that is exactly the framework we want to reveal to you is how we don't argue,
That's right.
how we move forward, and how we make our decisions
Yes.
that we don't regret.
Right.
I don't have one decision I ever regret because I always look if made a decision and didn't work out the way I thought it was going to work out. Well, that's a great learning opportunity. That was a good feedback for me to learn and grow and kind of get that ladder. So I think the number one way, the things that people have to do when making a decision is define your values. And when you define your values, that's your belief system, your core. And when our values are aligned, and they have evolved,
Yes.
got stronger, but when they're aligned, we're unified and we're going in one direction.
That's true. And that makes total sense. When you're unified and going in that one direction, what do you say to people who are not unified, who are married, and they are not going in that direction? What is your advice for them?
Get your common values together. You get your common values together, and then those four things are going to be that structure in which you base all your decisions upon. Like, for instance, you started
Totally different from you.
correct, right? And now what are we about?
Same thing, family,
Family,
health,
health,
freedom.
freedom. And when you think about freedom, I'm thinking about financial freedom. I'm talking about a peace of mind, freedom in a sense, right? Not being hounded upon by or being mentally imprisoned by others or other things. And really the freedom to make my own decisions. I think that's a big one too. Because a lot of times people feel like they're making their own decisions and they're not.
Yeah. It's freedom to of away from certain systems out there, whether it be the medical system or the school system, just freedom in that sense.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
100%. So freedom is definitely huge. And I think the other value we have is our marriage.
Expand.
Yeah, well, we wanted to both have the mother and father in the same household around our kids.
Yes.
That
was
was it.
important to us.
Yeah.
We're fortunate our values aligned, even though they're different, they aligned, and we were on board and wanted to make it work. There was no ego or any of that, those type of emotions involved, in my opinion.
No,
And that's what worked for us. It was give and take.
exactly. There's no ego at all. And once we defined our values as a family and we're all aligned, we're going in one direction.
We are. And I don't want to paint this rosy picture. However, it is somewhat, because we're aligned, it is a little rosy. Wouldn't you say? Wouldn't you agree?
That's why you align your values. I mean, and it takes some effort and time.
Exactly. I guess
Intentional.
that's where I wanted to say.
Yeah.
It takes effort and time.
Yeah,
You
I
have
got
to want to put it in.
put it in. Go to Google, look up, give me a list of 100 different values. You see different values, check on what's important to you, have your spouse check off what's important to them, come together and say, no, these are our top 3, our top 4. Because when you do that, we found that there's like a little circle. Right? All those values kind of run into one another and they get stronger,
And
stronger, and stronger, and stronger.
That's, yeah. I have to agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I feel like once they get stronger, you don't get bored with it, right? You keep you get motivated even more to keep doing it
Yeah.
for us, and you don't even realize that you're being motivated for it. It's just part of who you are now.
It's a great point. That really is a great point because you can't get bored of values. That's who you are.
Yeah.
And you can't lose motivation about who you are.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a beautiful point. And when you define them, you just gotta also just don't compromise them. And if you make a decision not to compromise them, like we want to have the marriage and the father and the mother in the same household raising our kids together, there is no other decision but to do it. We're not compromising that value.
That was, once you have that common value working towards, that is the last thing on your, at least for us, it was the last thing on our mind. We didn't even think, that never crossed our mind. We wanted to work together. I wanted to be home with the kids. You set to expand the practice and provide, and we worked as a team.
That is it. And it sounds so simple. Can't say it's easy because I don't think people are just aware of that. So, but that's the number one thing you got to do though. In order to make good, sound decisions, you got to have value-based decision
Decisions,
making.
yeah.
So, determine your values.
Yeah.
Because once you get your values, the next thing you do is set what?
Set your goals. And then you achieve them. Work towards them.
Yeah. The ones I think about working around family is we wanted to have experiences for our children
Yeah.
versus buy things. If we ever get, come say Cabbage Patch Kids, I don't know what the dolls are. American Girl
American
doll.
Girl dolls. We didn't want a house full of toys and American Girl dolls. We let them have some toys, but not, it wasn't overflowing with a ton of toys and a ton of things.
Yeah. And so one big thing that I remember is part of our experiences, we used to go travel to different countries or beaches, what have you. And I've always tried to convince you to, hey, let's go RVing.
And he would drop little hints here and there, watching YouTube together, and he would drop little hints.
And finally convinced you.
Yeah.
Right. And so what happened? So what's your experience with traveling and seeing different places with the RVing?
It's been phenomenal. Okay, he got me. He got me very much in love with it because you're the family's together. It's in a tight space. However, when you have your own bed, your own pillow, your own clothes, bring as much clothes as you want, and you have your own food that you can continue your lifestyle and show your children this beautiful country of ours. And that's something that will last for them forever and making wonderful memories. Just some simple as having time together around a fire pit. It's so funny. When you and I are outside fire pitting at an RV park, we think the kids will be inside watching TV on their device. Oh no, they're outside with us in the cold, in the rain. They're enjoying it. It's been wonderful. And we have shown them how, I don't know how many, I lost track of how many states we've.
Like 38. Olivia, our oldest daughter, has been to me, I think, 38 states out of the 50.
And we're trying to show her as much as we can before she goes off to university.
Yeah. And if it wasn't for our values to have that goal, man, I think it's invaluable no matter what it may cost us to have the RV, the truck, travel around with gas, RV parks, the time away from work. That investment it's you don't have to question it because that's what our value was, and we decided to make it happen.
Yeah, and another way of that value happening, it's like he knows I like comfort, so you made sure that we're traveling comfortably,
Yeah, yeah,
right? So
yeah.
it was a give and take. It wasn't something where it was some horrible RV situation, or we're staying in horrible parks.
Yeah.
And staying in nice parks, comfortable parks, where we could enjoy ourselves and feel safe and feel secure. And you wanted to provide that for us, yet at the same time achieve your goal, which is to show these children this country.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And spend time together.
Spend time together as a
Spend time
family.
together. And
Yeah.
that's another thing was we want to spend time together as a family. And so we used to have Friday date nights.
Yeah.
That turned into like family
Family
nights.
night. Yeah,
on
because
Fridays.
the kids were so little, I didn't feel comfortable just leaving them because we didn't have family nearby. I didn't feel comfortable leaving them with a babysitter. Even though they were good sitters, we just didn't feel comfortable. So we decided to take them along with us and have family night. Mm-hmm. And I think that helped us, in a sense, to become closer as a family unit.
Well, yes. And I think another thing that we've spent time together is there are not many nights where we do not eat dinner together at the dinner table with no devices, no TV, limited music on in the background that's soft, where we sit down, engage, and just share our experiences through the whole day.
Exactly. And it'll be teachable moments there at the table, like we recently had, or hash things out, come up with ideas, whatever it may be. We're having that discussion at the table. And it's funny that Kids have gotten so used to that they're fighting to talk.
It's so right.
They want to get their point across,
So right.
and it's like whether it's with politics, whether it's with food, whether it's with friends, whatever the case may be, diet, everything, they want to have, they want to participate in that conversation.
It's so powerful when you have that value and make that decision, spend time together. And that's another thing that you can do is commit to having family dinners together. And I'm not talking about having fast food, but home cooked meals,
Yes.
talking. And,
Yes.
that's probably something we should actually do is, the different things we do, just actually spend time together with our kids and build that bond. That'd be a great, excellent podcast. So perhaps we do in
Yeah.
the future.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Another thing is be disease free.
Yes. Because when you're disease free, you have the energy and the time to be together and do things together versus spending all your time at the doctor's office, at the hospital, wherever, laid up in bed, being limited.
Yeah, that's a goal. We're going to do everything we can not to be disease free.
No, to be disease free.
To be disease free. I don't want to be not disease free. I want to be full of disease.
No,
No, not at all.
far from that.
Not be disease free.
His brain goes faster than his mouth.
It's true. It's so true. So that's definitely another goal. Another goal for us. Well, part of that whole spectrum is wanting to eat healthy.
Yes.
We talked about it in the podcast before, so I won't get too much into it there.
Yes.
And making our own decisions.
Yes.
And I think a big one, I think it was for you as we had have our family unit, our goals was what? Around the kids.
Always to have mom and dad present. I didn't want it where he was traveling and I was a single parent for that week. Not that that's a bad thing. That's just a personal me thing. And it was important for me to have you around to help out, but also to guide the children and be that strong leader in the family. It's so funny. It's like when I say something, they listen. Our children listen. But it's like when dad says something and he's not even yelling, he's not even using his deep voice, nothing. It's like they listen, they don't question it. They don't give him the side eye. It's a big difference when I feel like, and then when we're on a united front, they know.
Well, and quite frankly, that's what I wanted too. I didn't want to be traveling all around. That's part of the reason why I became a dentist,
Yeah.
a health coach. And then when I did travel for training, I would always be on the phone, showing a room with our little FaceTime camera,
yes.
what have you. So
Yeah.
definitely a huge goal, and I think we overall made that work
Yes.
pretty good. We talked about us spending time together. I mean, it was really kind of about the family first.
It was mainly about the family. We did do our little coffee dates here and there when the kids were at school and he was off, or if we couldn't manage to get away, we would do something simple as having a coffee date at the house when the kids went to bed. We'll put them to bed a little bit earlier, and then you and I will go and sit and have coffee and just talk, even though we couldn't get out the house.
Yeah, because the kids in their bed.
The kids are in
8 o'clock
bed.
or whatever it was.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we tried out. We did little. We got a little creative. We'll go for a walk or something and talk, and didn't have to necessarily have to go out to eat. And I'm not a big fan of going out to eat, even though I like not having to cook sometimes. But I think you have to get creative and find ways to make it work.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think overall, from all the different goals we just kind of went into, and those are only examples of some of the goals. With time, although your values can get stronger, your goals can change. And so we had different goals to get to that next level of attainment, or just become a better father, family, etc. So that's the second thing. Goals. Set your goals then. The third is, I think, within the values and the goals, is that we want to be aligned, right? And the thing is, we're seeking clarity in our alignment versus certainty.
Explain what you mean by that.
So we're not trying to be right or wrong. with our decision making or our goal setting. Because sometimes you set goals are too high, could be too low. You can make decisions, one way or other way. But within all that, it's not whether you got it right or wrong. Right? We want to be clear in the direction we want to go at that particular time and allow that journey to give you feedback so that way you can change it. That makes sense?
Yeah.
So 'cause that's how you shape your life. And so, like for example, if you were to think about how you would want to be healthy and disease free, not disease free, but disease free, we start to do a lot of have an open mind and do a lot of research.
Yeah. We'd listen to different podcasts, read a lot of books. We listen to different lectures. And that information is all out there on the internet, on YouTube, at the library. Yeah.
And I think a big thing when we did that was we opened our minds from outside what was kind of being preached
Yeah.
over and over and over again. So, okay, hold on, that's being preached. Okay, what else? What alternative messages or things are out there that people tend to have a strong opinion about? Does it make sense for us?
Yeah.
Right. So we're not limited in just being like closed-minded about anything.
Yeah. Think.
Try not to be anyway, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Try to be open-minded and see the bigger picture.
Yeah. And like RV traveling as well. If you think about trying to not be right or wrong, was going to be right or wrong. I had no idea. Did you know?
No, I
Right.
never traveled. I never RV'd before.
Yeah, but we were clear on the fact that, hey, this is going to be a great experience, whether we love it or hate it. We don't know what's going to happen the next 2 weeks. We're going from Charlotte, North Carolina, all the way out to Salt Lake City, Utah, and down to Arches and everywhere, right?
Jackson Hole.
On an RV, driving across country with a family, a shaky thing. Are you going to love it? Are we going to love it? We had no idea, but we're clear it's going to be a great experience.
Yeah.
None of it's going to be right or wrong.
Yeah.
I hope that kind of makes a distinction about clarity there.
Yeah.
Because you hear me say this all the time. What do I always say about our goals and doing things?
It's not can we do it, but how can we do it? Yeah. You would never limit yourself. You'll always say, no, I'm going to figure out how we can make this happen.
That's it.
Yeah.
Because when you do that, you say, I can't do it. Well, okay, well, you're right. Whether you think you can or not.
It's
you're
not going to
right.
happen because you're not thinking,
Right.
working
Whereas-
towards it to make it happen.
Yeah, how can I make it happen? Well, now you get creativity juices going.
Yeah. I guess that's like eating healthy, right? It's not, can I do it? It's, how can I do it? Because a lot of people are trapped or they get tied up there and it's like, oh, it's too expensive. I can't do it.
Yeah.
It's too much work. I can't
Yeah.
do it.
Or I like meat, I want to.
Yeah, I can't get off dairy. Yeah, I'm sorry. That's not just happening. My quality of life.
Yeah, carnivore diet, and I don't know if I can eat vegetables, I just can't do it.
Yeah,
Of course you can't do it because you just said you can't do
exactly. Yeah,
it. I mean, and that's a beautiful thing. Just know you want to go down healthy, do the research, and don't worry about if you're right or wrong. It's going to evolve. Your goals are going to definitely evolve. Right? So that's the third part of the process is just get everything aligned, clarity around that. And once you have that, what do you do?
you commit to that decision.
Just do it.
Just do it.
Yeah.
Because once everything is aligned, you commit to it. That's it. It's a done thing. It's when you know. I'm trying to think of an example of when somebody knows they're gonna do something, you just go do it, right? You
Yeah.
don't think about it. If you know you want that shirt at the store, and you have the money, you make sure you have the money. You make sure your schedule is clear to go buy that shirt.
Yeah.
You're just gonna go do it.
Hey, do me a favor real quick. Pick that cup up.
I just did it.
You just did it. That's everything in life. You just got to do it.
It may be heavy, or it may not be. It may be too hot. Whatever the issue is, I did it though.
You did it. And you never stop. You never stop learning. You never stop doing. You're always evolving.
Yeah.
And when you start doing this stuff, it's okay to challenge those beliefs.
Yeah.
Make them stronger with the challenge.
Yeah.
Because when you do all that, you grow. I kind of hinted at this before, and you have a perfect analogy when we talk about this, though. Whenever we did, and you said, well, I say, if you don't grow, you die. And you said, well, water or something.
You become stagnant, right? And stagnant water, it stinks.
It does stink.
It
It
gets
does.
murky and cloudy and it smells bad.
It
That's stagnant
really-
water. Water's supposed to be always moving. It's current, right? The current makes it move. Yeah.
it does. And then, well, a lot of times, well, how can I learn about this stuff? You kind of mentioned YouTube, what have you. But another thing is mentors.
Yes. Yes. So for me, it's like it doesn't have to be someone who you know in person, right? If you have somebody who's in person, that's great. But for me, I didn't have that around me. So I utilize the internet. And I found someone, I utilize someone, I listen to podcasts. That could be a form of mentorship. And I found this one podcast. She speaks to me so much, just in terms of the positive mindset. And that's Chalene Johnson of the Chalene Johnson Show.
What's crazy about that is when we used to do the Beachbody workouts, you did her
I
workouts.
did.
I don't know if you remember this, but it was on Sonos, whatever. She had a podcast way back in the day, and so you saved it. I don't know if you ever listened to it.
No,
Yeah, it was there.
really?
Yeah, it was there for the whole time. And then all of a
Really?
sudden, you start like listening to her more. Like, man, she's kind of talking to me.
Yeah, it's so funny. She talks to you. Sometimes she chats with you like as a girlfriend, and you listening, keeping you company, or she will motivate you, or she will talk about women and hormones and health and exercise, or she will talk about that mindset and how to think positive to live a free life. And it's like speaks to everything that I want to hear. Yeah, so you can find a mentor out there. If it doesn't have to be a person that you know, or it could be someone on a podcast. It could be a book that you're reading and you follow them on social media, right? That particular person. There's different ways to be mentored, I think.
Completely. That's a beautiful thing. Yeah, a lot of times think people got to be in person. You don't have to be in
You
person
don't
these
have
days
to
at
be in
all.
person.
Yeah, so that's kind of that's the four pillars or of the framework that will allow you to make great decisions without any kind of regret. I tell you though, the one thing that fortifies or strengthens that process is, you tell me if you agree or not, is that when no in the household the father is on board 100% with all the values and captain of the ship, he's leading. And it's so much different if he's not on board with the direction of the family. Everybody's going that way but him. It's a complete deterrent. Where he's on board, eating healthy, no family, no freedom. It's full steam ahead and it's a strong, strong unit. And I'm not saying it's like a dictatorship. It's definitely collaborative, but there's something about just having that strength and that direction and that anchor to make sure all happens.
Yeah, based on our experience, when he was in dental school, you would eat you drink soda and those type of things, right? And I didn't want to eat or drink those things. But then when we had kids and over time, you started to cut that out. And when you came on board and said, you know what, let's cut out eating any meat. And the kids, they were young at the time, they didn't even miss it, right? And as time went on, every time you came on board with something, it just took off. There was
Wow.
no issue. Does that make sense?
I didn't realize that really until you just told me that. That's how you experienced it or that's how you felt.
Yeah, when you gave up dairy, cheese, it made it easier, right? I was able to cook and not have to worry about making two meals. When we decided to eat, well, I'm the one cooking, so he had no choice.
I
But
cook too.
yeah, he does. He's a great cook. He's a great cook.
Going through this whole process and what you just mentioned, it's you become first. You got to become the person, right? So you define those values, and then you start doing all this stuff to become that person, right? The beliefs are kind of in your head, like a program in a sense, and then that allows you to do the things that are aligned, right? And then as you're doing them, tend to grow and slowly become even more that person. Fortification. Once you do the things that you need to do, that's when you start to have all your desires, your goals are finally set. And you just think about our goals to have a happy family, know our health,
Yeah.
know, our kids are healthy,
Yeah. Yeah.
no medications,
Yeah.
and I don't have any disease. I'm disease free. I feel like our freedom. I mean, we think about what else do we have?
Happy marriage, happy children, uh, and the kids see that we have a happy, strong marriage. They do, and I feel like they imitate that. Not the marriage. I mean, they imitate the happiness, the sound thinking.
Yeah, they become who we are, and because we have our values so high, and we do all the things to become that type of person. They see it. They want to imitate it. They become that person.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
It's such a powerful thing. If I was traveling all around, or if I was going out watching, Sunday football games at the bar, leaving you guys behind, they're gonna feel off that some other kind of way.
Yes, we were getting coffee. Was it today? And we saw a family, this mom and her two kids,
Yeah,
at the coffee shop, the coffee house, and all three of them on devices,
not talking.
not talking.
Like 2 years old, 3 years old,
Yeah, he
and
like he was
6.
three. The youngest was three, and the oldest was six, and all of them on their devices, and there was no conversation. There was no interaction. Even if it's their family thing, it's you. It's what they're imitating her, watching her. So it's like if she's on her device, then we're going to be on our device.
Yeah, and then I'm the type of person who thinks downstream. 5, 6, 7, 8 years from now, are they going to be able to communicate?
Yeah.
Are they going to be effectively, right? Are they going to be emotionally intelligent? Are they going to be zoned out? Are they going to be able to think? Are they going to have social interactions? I mean, there's so many things I
Yeah.
think about.
Yeah.
So that's why values are so important right there. That way you can avoid that. And it's not a judgment; it's an observation.
Yeah.
And that's what life is about: observations.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think when it's all said and done, the thing is that we just want to have a quality of life.
A good one. Yeah. Yeah. It's what we aimed for, and it's what we're achieving. I feel.
It's like our dream.
Yeah.
Yeah. So to wrap this all up, to summarize everything, the first thing you got to do is
Have those values.
define them. You got to define them. Come aligned
Yeah.
with if you're single, align them. Then that way you can find somebody who has the same values.
Define those values if you're single. Know them. Know what you want.
Yep.
Yeah.
Family unit, get on board.
Yeah.
Right? The man got to be a man. Get the ship going the right direction. Everybody else will follow.
Right. Like he said, you don't have to be a dictator about it or be mean about it.
No.
You could lead in a way that's loving and kind and gentle.
Yeah. Set your goals is number 2. Set your goals like a year, 5 years, 10 years, where you want to get to and what things you got to do to achieve those goals.
Yeah.
And there's different techniques out there. Just every day you should do something. 3 things you can do to get that goal. And eventually you get to that goal.
And then what's next?
Yeah, well, then, all the goals, everything is, when you align all this stuff, you want to make sure that you have clarity. You're not trying to be right or wrong about anything, just clarity in where you're going. Right? You make the decision,
And stick to it.
be open to evolve. And the end of the day is, if you want to really make this all happen, man, you got to be a man. Lead the family, lead the kids. Don't make any kind of excuses. Solidify it. And every decision that's being made, if it's based upon the values, guess what? There's no arguments.
Yeah. Yeah.
None of what could we, how can we do it? So that's what it comes down to. And if you do that, there's decisions you will not regret.
Yeah. That's worked for us. And I think it's a good formula in my mind.
It works. It works. It will definitely work. It works for us. It will work for you. You can definitely live the life of your dreams. Have a great life, no matter what your values may be. If the values of partying, if you can live your life with great partying, it's all based upon your values. So with that being said, I appreciate you guys being with us.
Until next time, be well.
Take care.